long gestation model where cross-licensing is possible. We develop up to the NC level and take the partnership of another company and try to cross-licensing it. I think this is what probably some of the pharma industries are now negotiating. The next one, please. Follow after patenting. I think in the morning I saw some of the key speakers talking about this patenting thing. Patenting alone is not a great thing, but what comes after that? Patent challenges, infringements, opportunities for licensing. I always say that patent is like building a house. If you keep the house vacant, you end up paying taxes. You will not get any returns. You can utilize the patent. Unless you utilize the patent, patenting is not of a great value. So therefore, you must look into the opportunities for licensing, collaborations, and try to leverage the strength of a patent. Then only it has value. Next one, please. And nurturing innovation attitude and quality and quantity. That is what I know. If you see Thomas Edison, I think it is somewhere in 1880, he has demonstrated, he has got over 1,090 or so patents. One patent every 2 weeks. In fact, in the mornings, the one key speaker was mentioning about 250 patents from over 10 years. Quite low by any standards. Whereas one person could do it. 1,090 patents over a period of 30 years, every 2 weeks one patent which is commercializable. He has demonstrated that they're all commercializable things. Okay, there could be some exaggerations there, but whatever it is, if you can modify that model and apply to all our scientists in the government and private sector, probably we can do still a lot more. Next one, please. The untrodden path, we say, the new drug discovery model, it has got a lot to do here. This is where collaborations come into picture. This is where I'll have to tell you some of the gaps, some of the negative things. So probably, we are sitting here to just discuss those things. So I'll just leave some thoughts there. Next one, please. So this is where reverse. Only we can do 20%. 80% is left to others, either the medicinal chemistry part or drug designing, drug delivery, preclinical or clinical expertise. Still, I think India is emerging. That is where I think we require partnerships and collaborations to see a big drug coming out of. And now Dr. Anjali Reddy is no more, but that is what he says, that the unfinished agenda. That is what it is. That unfinished agenda probably is addressing to all of us in the pharma industry. We need to address it. Next one, please. So this big elbow is there. We are learners in drug discovery, and we need to see that how to come out of it, and the contract services, efficacies, toxicities, we can utilize the service industry. On a long-term basis, the product delivery, I think this is what it is. On a short-term basis, we are good in collaborations. Short-term, 2 years, 3 years, very, very specific project. But if you take a long-term thing, 10 years, 15 years, I think we need to learn. That big elbow is for that. Next one, please. The big vision of academia, industry collaborations, partnerships, and co-development is, I think, just I will touch upon that. I think one slide earlier. Yeah, next one. Yeah, I think this is what is, you find this in US. This is called AUTM, AUTM. That is the Association of University Technology Managers. What's happening is, universities are sitting over a pile of patents, each one probably 100, 150. They're not finding takers, and they are incurring expenditure. Each patent costs you about ₹1 crore every year to maintain in 40 countries. So what to do with this? Whether to discontinue or not, they're not able to take. So they have put this association where these industry attorneys and legal experts technical experts will meet industry partners to make these patents licensable, and then they are exploring it. I think it is a reasonable success we are finding in this model, and probably a parallel model probably we can work out in India as well. Next one, please. These are some of the cautions on which I find the gaps: lack of directional synchronization, structural mismatch. I think mismatch has been used in the morning also. You'll find that I'm also using the same thing: lack of synergy, miscommunication, skills non-complementary. See, a collaboration should be complementary. I have half of it and the rest of it you have. Supposing they're not complementary, you will not find that collaboration is a fruitful one. I always said, same language, different meaning. We speak the same language. We seem to speak the same language, but they mean differently. You'll find a cartoon here. Next one. That is what it is. Two people working in opposite directions, both have put enough efforts, 1,000 kilometers rail track, 500 from the opposite direction. When they meet, that's what happens. This is a cartoon I find 20 years back from R.K. Lakshman or something. It is still probably it's happening at some place because we didn't understand each other. And both of us worked hard. Absolutely no problem with the rails between them. But when they met, that's what happened. Next one, please. And this is another thing which I wrote, no? The pit and well syndrome. The project is 700 feet well, so we end up 70 pits of 10 feet each, because mathematics works. But actually, anything. These are not exaggerations, I'm telling you. Now, I'm criticizing myself. I'm criticizing all of us. And unless we come out of these pit and well syndromes, so probably new collaborations will not work as efficiently as they should. Next one, please. And this is what is industry, academia, and any gaps, outsourcing things. These two together, still we are falling short of the critical mass. So unless we come out of this, so all three are responsible, industry, academia, and if any gap is there from outsourcing. So unless that happens, so probably no big thing might come out, particularly in the pharmaceutical drug discovery sector. So the solution lies is continued efforts to build the talent pool, and Western big pharma model is based on the same equation, and synchronize, synergize, complement, communicate, keeping the end goal in picture. That's what is important. Next one, please. And technologically, I said, technologically we can do better if we evaluate our strengths for implementation, estimate the deficiency gaps for collaborations. Next one. So bridge the gaps by effective synergizing, and that can result in an efficient tech transfer mechanism and model. But that is the last one. Enabling the nation to discover and make in India. So discover and make in India. The big pharma companies, we must have seen that. Novartis chief has slightly criticized the make in India model. He said make in India, make it discover and make in India. He thinks that make in India means borrowing the IP and making in India. He said that unless you discover and make in India, it is not a good model for me, he said. I think it's a criticism, but I think let us take it in the positive way. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. The subject technology transfer is a fairly old subject, as old as I am, but still a lot of new thinking is coming. Like Saurabh and other people are there, young people also there. So let me say it is a new thinking in a old subject. Let me put across my views on this particular thing. Okay, what we'll discuss is that, please go. We'll look at new things. We'll look at the startup route. We'll look at the India-specific innovations. We'll look at open innovation. Then we'll probably have some little chart. Spin-off companies are now very not few, and then we hold a very famous Bose was there. Bose was an academician. He became an entrepreneur with a spin-off company. Both speakers are still valued. So it's an old story only. So this case I want to explain to you just to give the difference between a research, patent, technology, innovation, product. I know all of you are familiar with this particular thing, but I would like you to fine-tune your sensitivities to 5 things. Research, patent, technology, innovation, product. The 5 are totally different, distinct. That is the starting point of understanding the research to innovation or technology transfer. They are very, very different. I would like you to appreciate this particular point of it. So this is the subject where the academician is again an Indian only. So this Indian wanted to develop something in the cathode part of it. The technology has come from, please come to the earlier. Yeah, Kumar is from Patna. He is an electrochemical expert, like many of us are experts in this. He is a PhD in material science, right? And then the technology for the cathode was, research was done in a national laboratory in Chicago, right? So there is an inventor and there is a research done. And when you do the research, you protect the IP, and there is an inventor and there is assignee and subsequent licensee. Please go to the next one, right? So these people said this man is very capable of taking the technology to the market. So let us all put our bets on this particular person. So he has to develop a cathode, and cathode is not a product. Cathode is a part of a product. So you require an anode. He looked for a suitable anode, and he found anode is available in the market, which is not patent protected. There are disputes. So he had a cathode and he had a anode. Once you had a cathode anode, he had a product, right? And the product has got a specification. Then he said, I have a product. I want to upscale the technology. Like Saraj mentioned, you have to make a pilot scale about the specifications, right? So the pilot scale specifications, like in India, ESA, there is someone who is going to foot the bill for the pilot scale. So ESA also has a lot of competitions. They say if you are able to develop so-and-so product with so-and-so specifications, we will get a grant. Like India have got many things. DST has got a lot of programs. DSR has got programs. ESA has got many more programs. So these persons, he participated in an innovation competition, received the award, and as per the award, he prepared to prove that his battery will have so-and-so life cycle, so-and-so in the energy density with that. So then he got the money from the government. He proved at a pilot stage. He proved something at a pilot stage, so it is a successfully upscaled technology ready for transfer. So now you require an industry partner. So industry partner is very keen because he is talking about a battery, and electrical vehicles are the popular vehicles. To compete with the existing electrical vehicle, GE said, I need something which is a better battery. If I get a better battery, I probably can be winning the race. Right? So GE is looking for a better battery. He is not looking for a research. He is not looking for a patent. He is not looking for a cathode. He is not looking for a anode. He is not looking for the production technology. How do I make a battery? He doesn't know what. I want to have a battery. Then from a product perspective, what is a battery? A battery which has got a life. So the life is defined by the GE from a commercial perspective. It says, this is the battery. This has got so many cycles. The battery which can be recharged, charged, and which will run through so and so cycle is a competitively priced battery which the customer is going to buy. If the battery is weak, people will not buy my car itself. Right? Battery is very critical only from that perspective. He said, okay, nothing doing. I'll give the money. You go ahead. You develop the product. I'll give a grant plus loan, blah, blah, blah. So many terms are there. But then I'll put my own specifications. So the specifications of the government department like DST for the pilot plant are very different from the specifications of a GE for a finished commercial competitive product. It will be fine. So this man took the money from GE. GE became a strategic partner and he developed the product as per the GE's marketing requirement. Great thing is that they did it. They achieved success. The bad thing is that the repeatedness is not coming. So they could prove it for 1 cycle, 2 cycle, 3 cycle, 5 cycle, not the 1000 cycle which GE wanted. Then GE said, okay, bye, you have done a good job. Go for the next project some other time. So this project stopped at that particular point of time. So I suppose all of us are clear now. Research, patent, technology, product, all different categories. They are not one and the same, right? So we got different stakeholders, different actors at different points of time. The targets are not the same. The targets are totally different. Research to product. Product is a different commercial thing. Now, let us think on this particular thing. Please go, sir. Okay, now let us think. Now we have seen a case, and let us say we have got a laboratory, and this lab has come with a digital stethoscope. Now think aloud. Can anyone give me an idea? How do I take the digital stethoscope? Did I pronounce it correctly? Okay. To the market? Maybe lunchtime Saurabh will give you some ideas. Right? Okay, we'll go to the next one. Okay. Now we will come to the second category of innovations, which we are saying is a India-specific innovations. The competition is not global. It's an Indian competition. So there are many opportunities in India for India-specific innovations where the competition is very local. Okay. Let us take the case of a biotoilet. Again, the process is known. The process is that DRDO has got a very large number of technologies, and then they got a technology transfer office of NRDC. They said NRDC is not very good. CSI technology probably was not there at that point of time. They said let us go with FICCI, and they signed agree with FICCI. FICCI along with so-and-so process, they identified several prospective technology buyers. Right? So it's a very successful technology transfer of a DRDO lab through a FICCI organization. Again, DST is a partner in the entire networking. Right? So this technology has gone, and the product has come as a biotoilet. So biotoilet is what? It's a big problem in India. It's an India-specific problem. Got the railways and outside railways also, all of us know the problem. So these people, they say they face the problem when the soldiers are working in a high altitude, and they found a bacteria which would be working on this particular human waste and convert it to methane gas, whatever the particular thing. Right? So they have located the actual bacteria when the missions are going into the Antarctic. Right? So where science and technology missions are going there. So the scientists identified a bacteria in very far away Antarctic, and they brought it to India. They tested it, and it is really working. Right? So the job is now to transfer the technology. Right? So this is a laboratory which is good in producing bacteria, which is good in producing bacteria of the required quality, which is good in producing bacteria of the required quality of the required scale. Right? But then technology is not bacteria. What is technology? Technology is a tank which is fitted into the railway carriage. Right? And the tank has got a bacteria which the scientists know everything about it, and it also got a a particular outlet for discharging of the whatever you throw into the toilet. You know, we are very fond of throwing everything into the toilet. So your battles, your gutka, everything you throw into the toilet, there has to be some way of taking it out. Otherwise, bacteria will not work on glass tubes, or it will not work anything other than the particular waste. So now, again, I would like to reflect on this particular thing. If we are thinking I can do everything, a bacteria, you are expert, no doubt about it. Can you design a ball wall? Have you ever designed a ball wall? Can you make an outlet for something like a plastic bottles? Can you position it in below the tank? So when I transfer the technology, whom do I transfer the technology? Someone who doesn't know anything about tank design? Someone who never worked with railways? Or like India is very democratic country, we say we'll give to the lowest parting and then so on, so very disciplined. Okay. Now the people say this is a great technology, but it is stinky. That's what the feedback about this particular bio-toilet, one of the greatest scientific achievement ever transferred to the commercial organizations, because they say the problem is not with the bacteria, problem with the, but something called a ball wall, which is really going to take over the other things into the particular thing. So we are talking about something different here. Okay? We'll again come back to this particular thing. Now I'll come to my subject area. All these days, we are thinking the talent. When I ask the talent, where is the talent? Before the World War, the talent is in the academic institutions, research institutions. After that, we said the talent, the best of the talent for technical knowledge is with the academic institutions, research laboratories, my own research. I'm a part of DSI. Incidentally, I worked in DSI, retired from DSI. So all the scientists are my family, right? Right? See, research laboratories. Then we added in-house R&D companies, NATCO and other companies. We said expert talent is available in these three places. But fortunately for the world, a big pool of talent has come, which is not in the academic institution, which is not in the research laboratories, which is not in the commercial R&D company. They are the creative people everywhere in the world. Right? And to tap their energy, to tap their talent, people came with a different model called open innovation. Right? Model is very simple. If you are doing a research based on the 20 people working with you, you will not do anything. There are 20,000 people who are equally competent, if not better competent. Tap the 20,000 people outside your organization. They are not your permanent employees. They are not signed NDA with you. They don't want a bonus from you. They don't want an increment from you. They don't want a promotion from you. But they are different guys. You can tap them too. That is the simple model, right? Now, tapping those people who are not your employees, can you do wonders? What type of thing you can produce? I mean, the own people, so much difficulty there. You give everything. You give a house, you give a bonus, you give a DA, you give a car, you give a car. Still nothing is coming out. And you are talking about outside the people whom you do not have any control. What is that you can produce from outside the people whom you have got no control? Anything possible? Can you do anything with these people who are not outside your organization? They are not in the academic institution. They are not in the research institution. They are not employees of a government or of commercial companies. Anything possible? Let us look at successes. Google, X-Prize is one of the big guy. He always talks something very big. They wanted to put something on a moon. Something will be moving on a moon, scooping some material, and sending the material back to India, to Earth, for making the characteristics. Is it something which a person can do? Which a simple people can do? Which someone without a background like a ISRO can do? This we think is ISRO job. Can anyone do other than ISRO, NASA, all these guys? There are something like 18 teams, including one team from India, and they said they participate and they got some money, they moved something like that. They are not ISROs, they are not NASA. They are a group of innovative, creative people who form teams because of the challenge. We all know the space story, right? ISRO is doing a great job, right? Who makes a design of the spacecraft? After this, ISRO can make a design of the spacecraft. NASA can make a design of the spacecraft. Can you make a spacecraft? Can I make a spacecraft? No. But The disruptive innovations are coming from very private organizations. They are simple startups. When I say simple, they are simple in the complexity. But they are technology startups promoted by the technical people like all of us, right? So they are the startups. These startups, and they promise action in such a way. NASA says, when I got a space station there, I need a shuttle service to take material, everything up and down, a reusable spacecraft. I says, I'll not develop it anymore. I don't know how to develop it. Of course, I'll not offload to ISRO also. These boys and girls, they'll do the work. Right. So the development contract is given to a private agency for developing a reusable spacecraft which will go up and down like I'm going to Delhi to Hyderabad. And so this is the capability which is available outside the structure of a what we define as a R&D organization. Right? Research project to IICT because the chemical is in the name. Or I had to go to NCL because the chemical is in the name. Am I right, sir? So I am bound by the title. Right? So there are so many people who can do better. I'll never dare because audit will say, who the hell are you? How can you go and decide on this guy? You cannot do all these particular things. So naturally I settle for this particular thing. But Google being Bill Gates being an outsider, he says, I'll go for open innovation. The awardees are scientists are working in a scientific organization, but the process is different. He is not giving invitation to the Cambridge scientist or a Canada scientist. They are not giving invitation. He is going for open innovation. The scientists, if they want to compete, they have to compete with other people and get the award. It's not by invitation. Right? And then I think there is no one in the world who is spending more on R&D than Bill Gates today. He is running a challenges left and right, hundreds of challenges are there, and then the money is also very large, sufficient to really get the result.